Hi, it's Shan Wu with a Under Color of Law hot take on the Supreme Court decision that just came down about Mr. Abrego Garcia, the man who was illegally disappeared to El Salvador. Now, this is, again, one of these emergency cases that the Supreme Court is kind of being overwhelmed with because everything's an emergency. Of course, they could ease the strain on themselves by not taking these cases. They don't have to wait on all these. They could have just let the other decisions stand, but they want to wade into it. So they mostly left in place an order by the lower court in Maryland, which told the government, return him to the United States. He's being held in this maximum security prison in El Salvador with no legal basis whatsoever. How do we know there's no legal basis whatsoever? Well, on Friday afternoon, when the Justice Department attorney was in court, and we talked a little bit about this under the rubric of the department's kind of like falling apart. I mean, they don't have enough attorneys to do all this. Anyway, when he was in court before the federal judge, he was unable to give any legal justification for what was going on. And he had great candor. In fact, lawyers have an ethical duty to have candor with the court. And the judge asked him, what's the basis for this? I mean, why can't the United States just bring him back? And he said to the judge, he didn't really know. That he said, quote, when the case landed on his desk, that was the first question he had for his clients. His clients are the United States of America. He asked, obviously, supervisors, what's our legal basis for this guy being there? And he said to the judge, he didn't get a satisfactory answer. For being that honest to the court, that Saturday, the next day, he was placed on indefinite administrative leave. This was a deputy supervisor in the Office of Immigration Litigation, a 15-year veteran, knows what he's talking about, but that was his reward for telling the truth and being honest to the judge. Trump people took this emergency appeal to the Supreme Court to see if the Supreme Court would weigh in, because their point is, you can't even review this. Yeah, it's an error, but you also can't review it because it has to do with foreign policy, national security, etc., etc. Well, the Supreme Court disagreed with the Trump administration and ordered them to effectuate, quote unquote, his return to the United States. However, at the same time, they also wrote that the district court, the trial court, needs to take note of the, quote, deference owed to the executive branch in the conduct of foreign affairs. And they added that the Trump administration should be prepared to share what it can concerning the steps it has taken to secure Abrego Garcia's return and the prospect of further steps. Okay. Now, there are those who say we shouldn't be critical of the Supreme Court when they're actually getting something right. Okay. And that's fine. This is the right decision. It's like a no-brainer decision. Better decision, don't even get your hands involved in it. But this is gobbledygook, right? This is a shadow docket decision. It's unsigned. There is an additional statement that we'll get into. And it really smacks of Chief Justice Roberts', jellyfish kind of spine here, because he wants to be so careful that he isn't somehow encouraging any sort of encroachment on the executive branch's conduct of foreign affairs. Now, what the heck is he so worried about here, right? He wants to make so sure that he doesn't accidentally step into the executive's complete power that he, Roberts, gave him to do anything Trump wants as long as he wraps it as, oh, I'm commander-in-chief, it's foreign policy. Like, why does Roberts even find it necessary to say this? It's kind of like saying to people, don't break the law. If the district court gets something wrong, Trump's going to appeal it. He's going to appeal it no matter what, saying that's wrong. So it'll work its way up to the appellate courts. It'll work its way up back to the Supreme Court, and they'll have the opportunity to correct anything that's wrong. So why make this totally kind of like bromide, statement to them? Well, that's the unsigned decision that's issued. And in addition to that, Justice Sotomayor makes a, quote, statement. Okay, it's not like a concurring opinion, it's a statement, because this is this per curiam weird shadow docket stuff. These are just orders. They're not full cases that have been briefed, that have been argued. They're just these emergency orders, all right? And so Sotomayor makes a statement to go along with the decision, and she's joined by Kagan and Jackson. And what she says is, because, this is a quote, because every factor governing requests for equitable relief manifestly weighs against the government, I would have declined to intervene in this litigation and denied the application in full. Meaning, just keep your hands off the thing. This is no brainer. The district court got it right. Just leave it alone at this point. She then speaks it very clearly and says, in the proceedings on remand, the district court should continue to ensure that the government lives up to its obligations to follow the law. That's the real point here, right? Again, shadow docket, Supreme Court doesn't have to have taken the case, but they keep wanting to jump in here and do things with the Trump administration begging them to do something. This should have been a no-brainer. The government admitted that it made a mistake, and they couldn't come up with any legal basis for him having been disappeared out of the U.S. District Court says, bring him back. You haven't been able to come up with a shred of a legal argument, much less evidence, that there's some reason that he's there. So just bring him back. No-brainer, Supreme Court shouldn't have done anything. What happens next, and Roberts has kind of invited this sort of loophole for the Trump administration to argue, oh, it's national security, we can't tell you certain things, district court, etc., etc. What happens next is, now the court's going to say, all right, well, bring him back. But the Supreme Court has said, show the steps you have to take. They have to advise the court what they're doing. So what this does is it opens up an enormous amount of delay for this. And there could be more rounds of appeal. So the court got it right. But the way in which they're directing the district court is not very clear. It's certainly not strong. And it invites more delay, which every day of delay is enormously dangerous and injurious to this man who's sitting there for no reason in a very dangerous place, not in this country, in defiance of a legal order in this country, which was he was not to be sent to El Salvador, which is exactly where he is right now. So, I was saying before, some people are saying we shouldn't criticize the court too much if they get things right. So, yeah, they got it right. I'm with you on that, Mr. Chief Justice. But we do need to criticize the court. We need to point out that they have done a lousy job. They're the ones that gave Trump this power. And this opinion is too gobbledygook vanilla. It should have been a very strong statement to say, why are you even wasting our time with sending this up here? Bring the man back. And they could have sent that message just by saying, we're not taking this emergency decision. All right, we'll keep an eye on this. Hopefully we'll have more positive updates coming forth. And thank you, as always, for the replies and comments. And we'll be talking to you soon.
In collaboration with the Midas Touch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories at the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.